So I recently just hit 50k subscribers on my Greeno Eats channel. Amazing. Thank you very much, folks. And as part of the kind of celebrations of that, you guys asked me to do a Q&A. So I've got my questions. I've got a brew. Let's do this. So we're going to try and whiz through this a little bit, keep it short and snappy. Otherwise we'll be here for an hour, won't we? You know I like to waffle on. So we'll get cracked straight into it. What made me start up on YouTube? Well, like a lot of people in lockdown, a bit bored, and I actually set up a gaming channel. I've got a little setup in an office in my house, and I was making mainly Football Manager content. The channel did not do very well at all. I think it peaked about 400 subscribers. So I decided, once we came out of lockdown, what else could I do that might be a bit more fun and I really enjoyed? And the obvious answer was food. So I pivoted, set up a new channel, and here we are. It's become a full-time gig now. Never expected it to, but that's all down to you guys. So thank you very much for watching and all your support. How far in advance are videos filmed, and do I edit them myself? So normally videos that you see have been filmed maybe 1 to 2 weeks in advance. Some of them might be a little bit longer, some of them might be shorter than that. Occasionally I'll film something and release it the next day. Just depends on the kind of content it is, where it is, what other similar content I've done recently. You don't want too many fish and chip reviews too close together, do you, folks? So yeah, it just varies, but normally 1 to 2 weeks. Oh dear, wasps again. Which other YouTubers do I like to watch? Well, there's a few in the food scene. Obviously, there's Gary and Danny. Watch all of their stuff. Al with Al's Kitchen, his curry recipes are great. I like watching competitive eater videos too. So Max versus Food, Beard Meets Food, Randy Santel and Katina Eats Kilos, who I was fortunate enough to meet recently. Really, really good content. The stuff they do is incredible. Outside of food, I think Robbie Knox and Ed Chapman make great content. It's kind of more travel based, but really good kind of self-deprecating British humour in amongst it. There's a guy called Marek Larwood, who's a comedian, who's got a couple of channels. One just for himself, one where he does some walking stuff, the Cool Dudes Walking Club. Really, really entertaining, that is. Are there any YouTubers that I do not get along with? Oh, that's a spicy question, isn't it? Not really. I mean, I think I can get on with pretty much anyone. There are some people that I just don't agree with, but that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, aren't they? One thing that did annoy me recently, though, there's a guy, Blue Van Man, who's got quite a good channel, and he came into my comments section and started having a bit of a pop, and I don't think that's right. There are plenty of channels that I click on, watch a couple of videos, and don't really enjoy. Just move on. Why on earth? Certainly as a fellow creator, it should be a community that everyone's supportive in. Why you would come in and start having a pop at people for being too woke or any of that sort of thing. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with that. So yeah, so Blue Van Man is not on my Christmas card list, let's put it that way. What advice would I give to someone wanting to start a YouTube channel? Well, the first bit of advice is go for it. Why not? There's nothing stopping you. Just have a go. You don't need fancy equipment, you don't need the best software, it doesn't need to be that slick. You pick something you're passionate about, which is presumably why you're starting a channel, and just go for it. Your enthusiasm will hopefully bring people along. Now, of course, it's not going to be a get-rich-quick scheme, that's for sure. 97% of YouTube channels never get monetized. That's the ones that are actually putting videos on the platform, obviously not including the ones where you're just watching. So yeah, don't imagine you're going to turn into Mr. Beast overnight, but it's a learning process. Go back and look at some of my early videos. They're probably not very good, and I like to think I've improved over time. Just go on the journey. If you start to make a few quid, you can start to upgrade your equipment. But yeah, I started out with just a phone, just me, and here we are, 50,000 subscribers in. What are the best and worst things about YouTube? Well, it's basically two sides of one coin, I think, for that. It's the interaction with the community. I love chatting with you guys in the comments section, seeing emails from you, DMs on Instagram, that kind of thing. And when I put a video up and I see that, you know, it's starting to do quite well and people are enjoying it and putting positive comments in there, I mean, that's a real buzz. It really is. Maybe it's an ego thing, who knows? But I love it, and I love sort of getting to know some of you people in the comments. I know a lot of you have been here for a long, long time, right back from the very early days, and you know, it's a nice community among those kind of people. The flip side of that, of course, is the negative comments. Now, I'm not talking about constructive criticism. Absolutely happy to receive that. I know the content I make isn't perfect. It's still a bit rough and ready. I mean, it's never going to be that slick. It's not Hollywood. But if you want to give advice, great. No issue with that at all. If you want to come into my comments and just misbehave, say unpleasant things, why would you do that? I hate people doing that. It used to really get to me. It did. And I brought out a video about it a while back after I got back from New York. Now, I'm kind of a bit more ruthless with it. You get 1 or 2 chances, and if you say too many silly things, you just get blocked. Simple. Are there any plans for any more foreign content, specifically in Ireland? Well, I'd love to get back to Ireland, certainly, and hopefully I can do that this year. Time's a bit tight with a few other things going on, but fingers crossed. Not done Northern Ireland at all yet, actually, so I'd love to get up there. But other foreign content, yeah, I really enjoyed my trip to the States. There's a little bit coming up on the channel in the next week or two from a little trip I've had overseas recently. Yeah, why not? I mean, if funds allow, that's a key point. I'd love to get all over. I mean, the trip to New York was great fun. Really, really good. So if there's any opportunities like that come up, yeah, absolutely. Let me know in the comment section down below if there are any particular places you guys think I should visit overseas, and I'll look into it. Kind of following on from the travel side of things, why don't YouTubers do cruise ship food reviews? Now, I can't speak for other YouTubers, but the reason I don't do it is I get seasick. So that might not be a very good food review, to be honest. You'll see me eat it one minute and lose it again the next. Something I'm asked quite a lot, what was my job before YouTube? So I used to work in sales, basically, electronic components industry, helping out customers in Europe, finding product for them all around the world to help their production lines keep running. That was basically it. Great job, enjoyed it, mostly, like all jobs, ups and downs. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted not to be doing it anymore and doing this though. This is a lot more fun. What experience do you have in the food industry? Well, I used to own a country pub in North Dorset, about 45 minutes away from where I live, and always been in and around the pub industry, kind of from the age of 18. My mum used to own pubs. She owned them for like 30 odd years, and I used to work in them for her as well. So I've got a grounding, let's put it that way. Mrs. Greeno works in hospitality too, so we got a pretty good understanding of how things work. What is the tattoo on my arm? Now, I assume you guys are referring to this one with the Viking runes there. So I've always been interested in Vikings and Viking history, culture, that kind of thing. And when I got to 10,000 subscribers, the kids were saying to me, you should get a Greeno Eats tattoo. But of course, as you can see, my logo's got my face on it. So you don't want to be tattooing that on your body. Poor Mrs. Greeno's already got to look at this one. She doesn't need to look at 2, does she? So I decided to pick something that's not immediately obvious as a Greeno Eats themed tattoo, but that's what that says. The other tattoo on this arm, which you guys get to see, is an elm leaf, because ELM are the initials of people that are very important to me. I've got a number of tattoos that you guys don't get to see, themed around Rene Magritte paintings and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff, so yeah, you probably won't ever get to see them though. How long have I known Gary Eats and how did we meet? Well, I've not known him that long, to be honest. Less than 18 months at this point. They reached out to me initially. I'd been watching their videos, they'd been watching some of my videos. They reached out because they wanted to do a collaboration. And they wanted to pick someone, not necessarily a big name, which I definitely wasn't at the time, but just someone they thought they'd get along with. And they got that right. Me and Gary are now firm friends. We speak on the phone 2 or 3 times a week. I speak to the cameraman on the phone 2 or 3 times a week, sharing ideas, chatting over things, how things are going, that kind of stuff. Yeah, become really, really firm friends. We always meet up if we're in the same town for a beer. Obviously they film in London quite a bit, so do I. So if we manage to coordinate things, we'll meet up and have a pint. But yeah, really, really good friends. No one I like better in the community than Gary. Apparently less of you want to know how I met Mrs. Greeno than how I met Gary, but there is a question here. How did you and Mrs. Greeno meet and how long have you been married? We met through work. I guess a lot of people do that, don't they? Ours was a little bit more complicated though. I was working in an office in the south of Wales and she was working in an office in Hungary. Not terribly convenient, but we used to fly backwards and forwards like once a month maybe for about 18 months, and then decided to take the plunge and she moved over here. That was about 13 years ago she moved here, I think. So yeah, must be doing all right because she hasn't gone anywhere yet. We've only been married a couple of years though. We'd been planning it for a long time, but never really just got round to it, didn't find the right time. But yeah, did it a couple of years ago. And yeah, very, very, very happy. And before you guys say it, I know I'm punching, you don't have to tell me. What 3 guests would you invite to your dream dinner party? Now, I've decided to cheat a bit on this one, because my dining table seats 6 people, so it's me and 5 others, so I'm picking 5. It is cheating a bit, but I think you'll understand why when I tell you. So number 1, Billy Joel. Now, I'm a bit of a 90s indie music fan, really. That's my era. But I've always been a big fan of Billy Joel, and he's had a really interesting life. And I just think it'd be great to sit and just share some of the tales of what he's been up to and the story behind some of his songs. And plus, if the dinner's not going very well, we can wheel out a keyboard and he'll be able to entertain us a bit, won't he? Second guest, Harry Redknapp. I'm a Bournemouth fan. All my family are West Ham fans. And there's no one that kind of sums up both of those clubs more than he does. He has got stories for days. So I think he'd be really, really entertaining to share a dinner table with. Someone else I think would have great stories, be very amusing, but he's also just seems warm and kind and funny overall. Bob Mortimer. I think he's probably my favourite person in the world. Well, family accepted, you know. Favourite celebrity in the world, let's put it that way. I think he is brilliant. And yeah, can you imagine having a dinner with him wheeling out some of the tales that he puts out on like Would I Lie to You? That would be phenomenal. So that's 3 people who are still with us. I'm going to pick a couple who aren't now that I think would be great to sit down and share a meal with. Firstly, Anthony Bourdain. That guy was incredible. His love of food, his willingness to travel and try everything new, staying away from all the tourist traps and hotspots, just going, eating what the locals eat and trying all the good stuff and showing it to the world. It's a real inspiration. Yeah, love it. Love his TV shows, love his books. It's a shame he was taken too early, it really is. Absolute inspiration. And the 5th and last person that I would invite is my mum. Now, she passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately, and yeah, I miss her a lot, I really do. So she'd be the 5th person. For no other reason than I'd just like a bit of a catch up with her, really. What is my favourite home-cooked meal? Simple. Roast dinner. All day long. Especially Christmas dinner. Is there anything better than that? We go all out here at Greeno Towers at Christmas dinner. 3 different meats, goose fat roast potatoes, homemade Yorkshires, all the veg, pigs in blankets. Oh, stuffing, cheesy leeks, the works. Leads to a good Boxing Day as well, that does, when you get all the leftovers with some cheese and some breads and crackers and pickles. Oh, I can't wait for Christmas. Where would I love to live to eat the cuisine every day? Simple answer, France. I love France, absolutely love it. The food over there is spectacular, and what's great about it is it's got diverse climates all around the country, so there's different specialities in different regions, different cheeses. Oh, can you imagine that? Just getting to live in France, baguette, cheese, done. Yeah, definitely France for me. If there's one food item that I could completely eradicate and make it no longer exist, what would it be? Now, I'm sure you guys think you know the answer to this, but I think you're probably wrong, because it's not mushrooms. Quite like mushroom soup, it's just the texture I don't like. The one thing I'd get rid of, cinnamon. Get that in the bin, throw it in the sea, do whatever you want with it, but stop putting it in my apple puddings. I really love cooked apple, and I love an apple crumble. You ruin it by putting cinnamon in it. It makes it taste of medicine. Get rid. Is there anywhere in the US you would like to do a food tour? Well, my trip to New York was great, but I think if I was to pick 2 places that I'd really like to go, California, I've been there for a week once, loved it. All the sort of Mexican, Central American, South American foods, but loads of really good fresh stuff, nice seafood, that kind of thing. That would be great. And Texas, steaks and barbecue. What's not to like? What is your favourite snack and chocolate bar? Now, I'm a bit of a crisp fiend, it has to be said. Probably contributes to this a little bit. The absolute number one elite snack like that, bacon fries. You cannot beat them. They are phenomenal. Chocolate bar, Star bar, I reckon. You don't see them everywhere, and you couldn't get them for a number of years over here in the UK, but I love them. Keep it in the fridge so the caramel inside gets nice and kind of crisped up. It's an absolute dream. What food or dish would you really like to try that might shock people? Now, I was thinking about this, and I don't think there's anything that I haven't tried that would be really, truly shocking to people. You saw me eat a pig's head at fallow, for goodness sake. But there are a couple of things that are a little bit unusual that I have eaten in the past. I've eaten alligator. Maybe some of you will have tried that, but how many of you out there have eaten zebra? Because I've had it twice. It's not stripy all the way through. It's not like a stick of rock. And I've even eaten camel as well. Camel wasn't bad. Kind of a bit like lamb. Is there a restaurant you would 100% go back to as a regular visitor? Again, I'm going to cheat here a little bit and pick two. Because there's one close to me in Dorchester called Merum Kitchen, which is a Turkish restaurant. And to be fair, I have been back a couple of times since I reviewed it, and Mrs. Greeno, I think, has been there 4 times altogether. So, yeah, great Turkish food, great portions, good service, lovely people. Love it. But if there's one place that if I could pick it up from where it is and move it down here, the French Table in Surbiton. It was beautiful. Proper, great neighbourhood restaurant, French cuisine, delicious. Here's an interesting one. Selecting one course from places I have reviewed, what would be my perfect 3-course meal? This took some thinking about. Starter is from one of the places I've just talked about, the French Table. I had a sort of chilled tomato and melon soup, almost a sort of gazpacho-y kind of thing, with a peach sorbet in the middle, and it sounds a bit weird. And when I read it on the menu, I thought that's a bit odd, and I only picked it because I thought it'd be unusual. It was amazing. One of the nicest things I've ever eaten. Sounds like it shouldn't work, but it really does. Main course, again, difficult. But I've gone for the all-in at Blacklock. Beef, pork and lamb, all cooked over charcoal, piled up onto these flatbreads which soak in all those juices, served with beef dripping chips and the Blacklock gravy. Oh my goodness me. That was outstanding. It really was. Dessert. Now, I never used to be a dessert man before I started filming. Generally wouldn't eat them. But I'm starting to get into them. You've seen me get through a few sticky toffee puddings. But the one thing, if I could pick for dessert out of anything I've eaten, the cheesecake at Jim's Cheesecakes. You've never had anything like it. Honestly, you've got to go there. They're down in Wimborne in Dorset. And the cheesecake is next level good. I like the cherry one best. And finally, what is the worst thing I've ever eaten on this channel? Well, there's been a few shocking restaurants I've been to, but not all of them have had like terrible, terrible, terrible food. It's all been part of the experience. The service has been bad, but the worst, by some margin, I would say, was that curry I had in Paddington, the takeaway curry from the place either called the Taj Mahal or Deli Spice. It was inedible, and I'm sure if I'd eaten more of it, I would have made myself unwell. It was dreadful. Whatever you do, don't go there. They'll probably change their name again before too long, so keep an eye on it. But yeah, that was absolutely shocking. Worst thing I've eaten. Okay then, folks, so that's it for the Q&A. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found out a few things that you didn't know about me. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget, click a thumbs up. Have a little look round the vault, all that good stuff. You know the drill, don't you? Click the subscribe button. That's the key. Click that subscribe button. Let's push on up towards 100k. That's the aim. I want a YouTube plaque on my wall. Anyway, back to food in the next video, because that's what you're all here for, really, isn't it? I'll see you then.